Hello, wonderful listeners, and welcome back to English Podcast TV. I'm your host, John, and as always, I'm thrilled to be here.
And I'm Jenny. We're so excited to have you with us today. We've got a super important topic lined up, one that's fun, frustrating, and definitely full of surprises.
Oh yes, today we're talking about something that's super easy, totally straightforward, and never causes any confusion at all.
Oh wow, that's great. Finally, a topic that's easy to explain.
Jenny, I was being sarcastic.
Wait, what? Oh, wow, you got me. I totally missed it.
See? And you're a native level speaker now. That's the thing about sarcasm. It's sneaky. Sometimes even we miss it.
Okay, in my defense, you did say it with a straight face. I thought you were being serious.
Exactly. That's why sarcasm can be so hard to catch. You sound like you're saying one thing, but you mean the opposite.
So basically, you just gave us a perfect live demonstration of today's topic, how to understand humor and sarcasm in English.
See? I planned it all along. Totally intentional. Master podcast host move.
Sure you did. But in all seriousness, if you've ever been in a room where everyone's laughing and you're just standing there smiling awkwardly, not sure what just happened, this episode is for you.
We've both been there, and it's not just about knowing vocabulary. It's about understanding tone, timing, and the hidden meanings behind what people say.
That's right. So whether it's a cheesy pun or a sarcastic comment that flies right over your head, we're going to break it all down and help you feel a lot more comfortable and confident joining the joke.
So grab your sarcasm detector and your sense of humor, and let's dive in. Jenny, let's start with your initial impressions of English humor. What were some of the things that completely flew over your head when you first arrived?
Oh, where do I even begin? Honestly, sarcasm was my biggest nemesis. I took everything so literally. I was like, why is everyone being so weirdly negative all the time?
Oh, I've seen that happen. Sarcasm is like this secret club in English. If you don't know the code, you're just left blinking in confusion.
Exactly. I remember this one time early in my job. I was still super eager, trying to make a good impression. My colleague was staring at this massive stack of paperwork. She sighed dramatically and said, "Oh, great, just what I needed today."
Oof. I feel like I know what's coming.
And me, in full-on polite mode, smiled brightly and said, "Oh, I can help you with that if you'd like." I was genuinely trying to be helpful.
No. Oh, Jenny.
I will never forget her face. She just stared at me like, "Is this girl serious?" Then she burst out laughing. I stood there frozen, so confused, thinking, wait, what did I say wrong?
That's the brutal thing with sarcasm. It's like an inside joke with no explanation.
Yes, the tone, the delivery, the tiny smirk, and I missed all of it.
I've been on the other side of that. I remember speaking to a non-native friend. We were stuck in traffic, and I said, "Oh, fantastic. I love spending hours staring at brake lights." And he just said, "Really? That's very optimistic of you."
It's adorable.
I didn't even realize how sarcastic it sounded until he looked at me like I was a traffic enthusiast. That's when it hit me. Sarcasm is invisible unless you're tuned into the cultural frequency.
Yes, it's like learning another layer of the language.
And sometimes it's not just the words. It's the eyebrow raise, the sigh, or even just a pause. Like when someone says, "Oh, you're so punctual," and you're 20 minutes late.
Oh my gosh, yes. I once had someone say, "Nice of you to join us." When I arrived late to a meeting, I replied with, "Thank you," completely missing the sarcasm. I thought they were genuinely being nice.
Oh, Jenny, that's gold.
I was a sarcasm disaster in my first year.
You've come a long way, though. I think once you start recognizing sarcasm, it's addictive. Like, now I can't stop using it.
Same. Once I cracked the code, it became a game. Now I find myself saying things like, "Oh, perfect timing as usual," with just the right eyebrow lift.
That's the spirit. Mastering sarcasm is like earning a badge in English fluency.
True, but it does require you to listen for more than just words. You have to tune into the mood, the rhythm, the unspoken stuff.
Exactly. That's the beauty and the madness of English humor. It's often in the spaces between words.
Like when someone spills coffee and says, "Well, that's just fantastic." And you're like, "Oh, I get it now."
And it's such a bonding tool, isn't it? Like once you get sarcasm, you start feeling more native.
Totally. It's like suddenly being invited to sit at the grown-ups table. You laugh with them, not just at what they say, but at how they say it.
Okay, let's get into the different types of humor. We can start with something relatively harmless. Wordplay.
Ah, yes, the pun. A favorite of dads everywhere, including my own.
Indeed. A pun is a joke that exploits the different possible meanings of a word, or the fact that there are words that sound alike but have different meanings.
Give us an example, John.
Okay, here's a classic. I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Oh, John, that's terrible. In the best way possible.
That's the whole point. The humor comes from the double meaning of impossible to put down. It literally means you can't stop reading it, but also that it's defying gravity.
Right, okay. I think I understand. What about another example?
Okay. What do you call a lazy kangaroo? Pouch potato.
Oh my gosh.
See, wordplay relies on a little bit of cleverness, a little bit of understanding the nuances of the language.
It's very true. What's next?
Next up, exaggeration.
Oh, I know this one. I've told you 1,000,000 times. Or, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
Precisely. Exaggeration, or hyperbole, is when you overstate something to make a point or create a humorous effect. It's obviously not meant to be taken literally.
Though, sometimes I do feel like I could eat a horse.
I know the feeling, but the humor comes from the absurdity of the statement. Nobody has actually told someone something 1,000,000 times. It's used for emphasis.
Okay, so wordplay and exaggeration. What else is in our humor toolbox?
Let's talk about twist punchlines.
Twist punchlines. Those are the ones that get me every time.
They get everyone. A twist punchline sets you up to expect one thing, then delivers something completely unexpected, creating a humorous surprise.
Give us an example.
All right. I used to play piano by ear, but now I use my hands.
Okay, that's good. The expectation is that you'd normally play with your hands, so the twist is that you used to play by ear, meaning without sheet music.
Exactly. The surprise element is key. People don't see it coming. Now, let's move on to something a bit more subtle, a bit more dangerous. Sarcasm.
Ah, yes, my nemesis. I battled this beast for years.
You and half the planet. Sarcasm is basically when someone says the opposite of what they mean, but in a way that's meant to be obvious. It's a type of humor that often mocks or exaggerates, and yeah, it can definitely sting if misunderstood.
Tone is everything. You can't really write sarcasm and expect it to land. You need the voice, the look, the vibe.
Exactly. Facial expressions, game changers. Picture raised eyebrows, a dramatic sigh, a smirk, or that perfectly blank, I'm dead inside stare. The deadpan look.
Yes. Like when someone says, "Wow, you're so early," when you're 45 minutes late and they're looking at you like you owe them 3 coffees.
That's sarcasm with a side of judgment right there.
All right, John, let's give the listeners an example. Put it all together. Tone, body language, the works.
Oh, that's just fantastic. Thank you so much.
Boom. Classic. The words sound grateful, but everything else, the sigh, the tone, the eye roll says, I'm actually about to cry or throw something.
That's sarcasm in action. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it and when.
So how can learners train themselves to spot sarcasm? I mean, some people are so subtle, even I miss it.
True. You've got to pay attention to 3 things. The tone. Is it overly cheerful or super flat? The context. Does what they say fit the situation? The body language. Is there an eye roll, a smirk, a sigh?
Yeah, like if someone says, "Oh, wow, more meetings? Yay," with a blank face and dead eyes, probably sarcastic.
Unless they're actually a fan of spreadsheets, which, hey, no judgment.
Okay, I'm throwing a curveball. Let's play a quick sarcasm game. I'll say a line, you guess if I mean it.
Bring it on.
I absolutely love waiting in long queues at the post office.
Oh, that is prime sarcasm. The emphasis on love, the dead eyes. I felt that one in my soul.
Correct. Your turn.
Oh boy, another Monday. My favorite day of the week.
That's a double dose of sarcasm. That's elite level irony.
Thank you. I practice in the mirror.
You know, sarcasm is kind of like seasoning. A little can make a conversation fun and spicy, but too much, and no one knows what's real anymore.
True. I once had a student ask me, why do you say things you don't mean? Isn't that lying? And I had to explain, it's not meant to deceive, it's meant to entertain. It's a kind of verbal wink.
That's a lovely way to put it, a verbal wink. But you do have to learn when and where it's appropriate. Not everyone appreciates sarcasm, especially in formal settings.
Right. Imagine telling your boss, oh, fantastic idea, sir, when you mean the opposite and they don't get the joke. Awkward.
Or worse, they do get it, and then you get an email from HR.
True story?
Mock serious? I plead the 5th.
On that note, let's wrap this part up with a takeaway tip. If you're still learning English, don't rush into sarcasm. First, observe how it's used by others, listen for tone, watch their expressions, and soon you'll start to feel the rhythm.
And remember, when in doubt, just ask. Were you being sarcastic just now? That question alone can spark a really interesting conversation.
Or lead to some much-needed clarification. Trust us, we've both been there.
Oh, yes, many times. So what if you're still unsure if someone is being serious or sarcastic? What can you say?
Great question. A few useful phrases are, wait, are you being serious or sarcastic? It's direct, but it gets the job done. Or you could say, I can't tell if you're joking.
You could also say, are you pulling my leg? That's an idiom that means, are you teasing me or tricking me?
Excellent. Or if you suspect someone made a pun, you can say, that was a pun, right?
Yeah. So we've covered wordplay, exaggeration, twist punchlines, and sarcasm. But how can our listeners actually practice understanding English humor in a fun way?
Entertainment. Watch TV shows and movies that are known for their humor.
Absolutely. I highly recommend sitcoms like Friends, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Office.
Parks and Recreation is another great one. And don't be afraid to watch with subtitles, at least initially. It can help you catch those subtle nuances.
And pay attention to the characters' interactions. How do they use tone and body language to convey humor and sarcasm?
Exactly. Observe, listen, and learn, and don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand a joke, ask someone to explain it.
That's so important. There's no shame in admitting you don't get something. It's all part of the learning process.
Now, Jenny, you mentioned struggling with sarcasm when you first arrived. Can you share another specific experience where you completely missed the joke?
Okay, this one is a little embarrassing, but it's a good example. I was at a dinner party and someone made a comment about the food saying, "Well, that's certainly interesting."
Uh-oh.
And I, bless my heart, replied, "Yes, it is. It's very unique," because I thought interesting was a positive thing.
Oh, Jenny.
I know. Everyone at the table just kind of looked at each other, and there was this awkward silence. Later, someone explained to me that interesting is often code for not very good.
It's the classic polite British understatement. It's a way of being critical without being overly negative.
Exactly. I felt so foolish. But you know what? I learned from it. And now I can usually spot that kind of sarcasm a mile away.
That's the key. Don't be discouraged by your mistakes. Embrace them as learning opportunities. And remember, humor is subjective. What one person finds funny, another person might not. Don't try to force it.
Exactly. Just relax, be yourself, and try to enjoy the process of learning a new language and culture.
So, to recap, we've covered the different types of English humor, how to recognize sarcasm, useful phrases, and entertainment recommendations for practice.
And most importantly, we've emphasized the importance of embracing mistakes and learning from them. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself.
Absolutely. Remember, learning a language is a journey, not a destination, and humor is a vital part of that journey.
So go out there, embrace the laughter, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You got this.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of English Podcast TV. Thanks for joining us.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English learning tips and tricks.
Until next time, keep laughing and keep learning.